Welcome to South Asia. This is your facilitator J. Reddy. At educational channel South Asia Maps or Greater India Maps or Greater Indian Maps, I try to bring a deeper cultural and historical geographical knowledge to our audience where they can articulate very well. This is my more than nearly 4 decades of thousands of hours of work looking at the map and reading a lot of things. So I thought it will be very beneficial to our audience south of Khyber Pass or Karakoram or any interested audience outside Bharat or India. Today the topic of our discussion will be the Indian history, Indian Railways history. We'll be looking at Howrah-Delhi fascinating railway line and history and so on. This topic I'll be covering in 5 parts. First 3 parts will be a loop line, second part will be a main line, third part will be a chord line. Loop line is also called, so the title is Howrah-Delhi 3 ways. All these 3 or 5 presentation, the screens may look like, but to pay attention to subtle details which I have highlighted here in red lines. There are 3 ways to go between Howrah to Delhi. This is the way 1. This is called loop line, SAHIB GANJ line here. And there is also other line called Kiul Line or main line that goes to Kiul, Lakhisarai and Patna. That will come in part 2. There is also a third line, more popular and short line, line 3 called Chord Line that goes via Dhanbad and the sacred city of Gaya in Magad region of Bihar. And in other presentation, I will also talk about what is a chord line. I will also talk about later presentation what is a grand chord line. The difference between the chord line, the main line, the loop line will briefly discuss here because each presentation is standalone. I don't want to burden the audience to go and look for other video and come back here. So always our presentation will be standalone. You come and attend the presentation and you will get a lot of valuable information. Of course, if you look at other related presentations, you will get even much more idea. So the title is the British Imperialism, the British Railways in India, British Railway History in India, British connecting their capital in the Gangetic plains, that is especially in the lower Ganga Delta or Bengal Delta, to Indraprastha, upper reaches of the Ganges Delta, Indo-Gangetic plains in the Doab region of Uttar Bharat, North India. That means current capital to prospective future capital, because this railway line was completed in 1866, the loop line. Next line was completed round about 10 years later, 18 or even 5 years later, 1871. The third line was completed during Lord Minto's time, that means round about 1906 or 7, something like that. So that will be that is the main topic of presentation today. So we will be seeing the same thing but without this logo. So you should not think that I am changing the topic drastically. It's the same thing. The overall, we are in the Ganges. This is the Indo-Gangetic plains. This is the Gangetic plains. This is the upper dome. I have put this 3D map so that you will get a clarity why the railway line was built like that. The railways in India started round about 1853-54 like that. During the final phase of Lord Dalhousie's time, he was the Governor General, I think, 1849 to 57, I think, because few months after he left the first war of independence, a Sepoy mutiny broke in the upper Doab at Meerut city near Delhi, and he also annexed the Khalsa kingdom around about 1849, so that's the rough time. And railway lines started at 3 places in different presidencies like Bombay Presidency, Madras Presidency, and Bengal Presidency that we know, like Bombay to Thane, and in Madras Presidency from Rayapuram in Madras to Arcot, and in Madras Presidency from Howrah to Sahibganj. This is the Bhagirathi River. The British won the Battle of Palasi, that is in the border of Murshidabad district and Nadia district, that is east side of river Bhagirathi, also called Hooghly, that starts a branch, a distributary of mighty Ganga near Farakka. That is the river that separates northern Malda district, southern Murshidabad district. Won the Battle of Palasi here, and they built their capital in Calcutta because it's a trading center and port. Why I am bringing this? It will fall in the complete understanding after some time. Railway line was built from Howrah to Delhi. We generally see the Howrah most of the time, not Calcutta. Howrah and Calcutta are like twin cities. The Hooghly River, Bhagirathi River separated them. Suppose if you build a railway line from east of river Ganga and you have to cross Ganga again, and again you have to cross Ganga to go to Delhi. At that time it is very expensive, and that much technology was not there, resources are not there. Of course nowadays we have all those things and we travel like that too. That's not the issue. We are talking about a history at a particular time, the decisions made. The Howrah-Delhi line was built at a Sahib Ganj Loop, that is around about 1686 kilometers, and it was completed in 1866. That was called main line. There is only one line. Before that, suppose here we are like near Bardhaman area, something like this, and we want to go to Delhi. There are 3 ways we can go. One, we can go like this. This is a Bardhaman here, Howrah, and Bardhaman here, and this is Kanna. We can go from here. There is a Sahib Ganj, and there is a Lakhisarai. This is a Patna. We cross the Son River, and we enter Mughalsarai. That is called Deen Dayalpuram now. Across Benares city, Varanasi city. That means only the Ganga river separates that. It never cuts there originally. It goes there south of Ganga, via Chunar and Mirzapur and all those areas, Allahabad. Allahabad city, it crosses Yamuna river, entered the Doab. That's the only place the river, the railway line crossed at that time. Then goes to Kanpur, then goes to Shikohabad, Tundla near Agra, then Aligarh, and goes to Ghaziabad. At that time there was no train directly to Delhi. Even the Governor General has to disembark, then take the ferry to go to Delhi across and things like that. So there are 3 lines we are discussing. That's was the only one line, SAHIBGANJ line. Later they built other railway line, that is Howrah, Bardhaman. After Kanna there is a place called Sahibganj. At Sahibganj it went to Devagar and Jamui and Kiul. Kiul is almost suburb of Lakhisarai. Essentially it joined the main Sahibganj line at Kiul, Lakhisarai, and continued. Because this was a short line, it is called Chord line. Chord means essentially in mathematics, there are here almost from Bardhaman area, and you have Patna area. And if you draw a straight line, this is much shorter. So it is called Chord line. When the Chord line was built, Chord line means, always remember, Kiul town. In south of the Ganga river, that is south of Lakhisarai, close to Patna. Chord line is Kiul Line. When the Chord line, the shortest line, was built, this became a loop line, because this is the loop. Loop line means you here it is Khana, and you take a diversion or a loop, go to Sahib Ganj and go to Bhagalpur, go to Mangyar and join Lakhisarai through and continue Patna like that. Now this is a loop. It has a significance. It serves the traffic there, it serves the passengers there, it has a role. But this is a loop line now. This is the Chord line, shortest line. When there are more than one line, this concept will come, the main line and chord line. This is the chord line and this is the loop line. Then what is the main line? Main line essentially means the most important one, where much of the traffic moves through, much of the freight goes through. That's the main line. Main line need not be the short line. What happens after few years, round about 40 years or later, the first line was 1866, next is 1871, then 1907, this line was completed. Of course, these lines were built in phases. That means sometimes the traffic will move from here to here, here to here. That's not the point. The point is end-to-end connection we are talking about. That means the end-to-end chord line connection. Now this becomes the chord. That means we are trying to go to Mughalsarai. The major thing, Howrah-Delhi line is always Mughalsarai. The later, this the loop line, at that time the Kiul line, and this is called Gaya line. All join at Mughalsarai, then the journey continues is the same. I am using the terms SAHIB GANJ LOOp line, Kiul line, and this is the Gaya line, so that you will not have confusion in the beginning. Later, once you understand the terms, you know what they are. This becomes the chord lines much shorter. It was opened by the Governor General Lord Minto, who succeeded Lord Curzon in 1905 or 6 something, and he opened this line by a grand ceremony at Guzhati. That is a town at that time in the Bengal presidency. See, at that time Bengal presidency has Purbi Bengal, East Bengal. Sometimes it also has Assamese speaking districts here. And of course it has a Paschim Bengal, West Bengal. It has a Bihar, Hindi speaking area, Jharkhand and Birsa Munda, those other language speaking Jharkhand. It also has Odia speaking Kalinga district. It's a very broad province at that time. We are talking about 1905 or something like. This became a chord line. So originally, so essentially where we start our journey at Howrah, across the river Hooghly, because the British Governor General's administration resided in their capital in Bengal Delta at Calcutta. When the railway line was built, completed in 1866, they have to take a ferry and come to Howrah and get into the train and travel all these places, Mughalsarai, Mirzapur, Chunar, Allahabad, enter into Lower Dove, then Kanpur, then Fatehpur, Kanpur, Shikohabad, and Tundla, and Aligarh, and Ghaziabad, and again disembark and take a ferry, go to Delhi. Later, these Delhi and Ghaziabad were connected by railway line, building a bridge. So Delhi here, Ghaziabad here, and Howrah here, and Calcutta here. So the topic today is Sahib Ganj Loop, that is Howrah-Delhi line. Why we are spending all this time? Next 3-4 lectures we will be doing the same thing, telling the same thing with a different perspective, so that the audience will get a clarity. So even I didn't use the term, what is the loop line, what is the chord line, what is the main line in the beginning, that confuses. Now let us put the things in perspective. Always remember, based upon the town where the railway line goes. So it will be much clear for the audience. Sahib Ganj railway line, Kiul railway line, Gaya railway line. So first line is the Sahib Ganj line. That's the only line. Main line. Only one line means there is no other way to go, right? Then when Kiul Line was built, this became the Chord line, the shortest line between Mughalsarai and Howrah. Always remember Mughalsarai and Howrah. You need not even worry about Delhi. That's not the point. All these three lines join at Mughalsarai, across the river Ganga, close to Benares, Varanasi, but they never cross the river and never enter Benares. At that time, remember, now they cross and enter, go to Lucknow, go to Delhi. That's a different story. So that is also confusion. You should not be thinking about that. Why J told like that. Now we can go to Mughalsarai and Varanasi, get into Lucknow, go to like that. That's possible now because now there is more transportation, more building. So that was SAHIBGANJ line. This is Kiul Line. Then again in the Bengal area, in the Damodar Valley, they built one more. So the Kiul Line takes a diversification at, I have put small words here, you can see. The things you have to remember is Sitarampur and this is Bardhaman and Khanna and Raiganj Sitarampur. I didn't clutter here putting the dots. So first one is Bardhaman, somewhere here is Bardhaman here, and this is Khanna, the Khanna diversification, and then Raiganj diversification to Kiul. Then close to that after Asansol and Kulti, and you have Sitarampur. From Sitarampur to Mughalsarai, they built one more line that is called, went through Gaya city, Guzhatti. This is the Chord line. So when this Kiul line was built, SAHIBGANJ became a loop line. This became the main line where the much of the traffic flew. This became the Chord line. Kiul became the Chord. SAHIBGANJ became the loop line. When Gaya railway tract was built, Sitarampur to Mughalsarai, this became the Chord, shortest one. This, that is, Kiul line became the main line and SAHIBGANJ remained a loop line. So we have a loop line here, a main line here, and a Chord line here. Why this is the main line? Because this Chord should have become a main line and this should have become simply a line name. But much of the traffic, fertilizers, the coal, that all those historic cities and much of the populated centers are here. So that's the main line. In a sense, that generates a lot of more revenue to the railway line. So it is called main line. Sometimes a Chord can also become a main line if it generates more income and things like that. This is the Chord line, that is Gaya line. This is the main line, Kiul line. This is the loop line. And what is a SAHIBGANJ loop line? SAHIBGANJ loop line starts with Howrah, go to Bardhaman here. Bardhaman or Burdwan is in the lower part of the Damodar Valley. We have this is the delta, this is the Damodar Valley, and it goes into this is the east of the Bhagirathi river, right? This is the Bhagirathi plains and Bhagirathi plains. It goes to the Bhagirathi plains, goes to, it bifurcates at a place called Khanna, Khana, Khanna, and goes to Siuri. That is an important town in the Bolpur district or Birbhum district. Then goes to Bolpur. Then goes to Nalhati. And these are the Raj Mahal hills. It never crosses Bhagirathi river, that is a distributary of Ganga river. This is the Santal Parganas here. Here the Raj Mahal hills, and they almost project to come close to the Ganga river, where Ganga river takes the southward a loop here to enter into Bengal, SAHIBGANJ, and it goes to Bhagalpur, that is in the Anga region, next to the Magad region. Magad region is Patna. Anga region is the Bhagalpur region. And you see here, there is a Kharagpur hills. That way you see the Mangyar town is little upstream here. So Mangyar. Then it goes to Lakhisarai. Lakhisarai, it goes to Bakhtiyarpur, Bihar Sharif and all those places, and goes to Pataliputra, Patna. That was the ancient city, capital for Gupta dynasty, Maurya dynasty, then Gupta dynasty and so on. And then this is the Sonpar river. It crosses the Sonpar river at Koleshwar, Kolwar, close to Ara. It enters into Ara. This is the Sasram and those district and historic areas, Sasram and Rohtas and all those areas, at Buxar, then Chunar, and travels close to Ganga. It doesn't cross Ganga. Across the Ganga, you have like Gajipur, Balia and Jaunpur, those areas, and joins the Mughalsarai railway station. That's a very important railway station, major junction. It only the Ganga river separates between Mughalsarai and adjoining Varanasi. This is the Purbiya plains. So we told you initially when they built the railway line, it never crossed Ganga river, because in order to go to Indraprastha from Howrah, you need not cross Ganga unless you want it purposefully. So we are in where we are in Mughalsarai here, Deen Dayalpuram, now they called, important nationalist leader and former Janasangh president Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Mughalsarai. Then it goes to Chunar and Mirzapur. This is the Mirzapur hills or Kaimur hills, like that, Robertsganj and historic British districts of Mirzapur. And now we have a Yamuna river or Jamuna river, Ganga river, and hidden or underground Saraswati river join at Prayag, Sangam. Later Islamic imperialism, in order to erase that name, changed the name to Allahabad, the city of Allah. And when our Meccaulite rulers came into power, they didn't care about to change the name. Names have a very great historical significance. This is very important. Anyway, it crosses the Jamuna river, goes into Allahabad, and that means now we are in the Doab. This is the Doab region. East side mighty Ganga river, west side Yamuna river. So this is the Doab. This is the lower part of the Doab. That is the Fatehpur district and Kanpur district and Etawah district. These are lower parts of the Doab. So it goes to Fatehpur, it goes to Kanpur, was the major historic city of Kannauj, and the major British cantonment stayed there. Even the last Peshwa of Maratha Empire, Baji Rao II, who passed away 1853 or so, lived near Kanpur, a town called Bittur on Ganga. And at Kanpur, it goes to Etawah, it goes to Sikohabad, then it goes to Firozabad, and it goes to a place called Tanla. It never crosses Yamuna again. Already we crossed Yamuna and entered into the Doab at Allahabad. Then we are in the lower Doab. Then we are in the upper Doab near Tunla junction. Now one can go to Agra and continue the journey west side of Agra. In fact, Chennai or Madras Railway through Delhi goes through Agra and Mathura and Faridabad and Delhi. That's a different story, parallelly. But Howrah-Delhi line didn't cross that. There is no need. We are still in the upper Doab now. Then it goes to Aligarh. From Aligarh you can take a diversification, goes to the Bulandshahr, Meerut cities and Muzaffarnagar and Saharanpur, and cross the Yamuna river, goes to Ambala, like that. That's a different story. Now we are in Aligarh and goes to Ghaziabad and stops there, and one has to embark and go to Delhi. That is Delhi to Howrah SAHIB GANJ LOOp line. Delhi to Howrah SAHIB GANJ LOOp line. So there are three ways to go from Howrah to Delhi. SAHIB GANJ LOOp line, Kiul main line, Gaya Chord line. Howrah SAHIB GANJ LOOp line goes to Patna also. And that was completed in 1866, and It is 1586 kilometers. So it starts with the Gangetic Delta, that is moribund delta or dead delta, goes to the Damodar Valley, then enters into Birbham, Suri and all those areas and Bolpur into western side of Bhagirathi Valley and skips the Raj Mahal hills, enters into Vanga region or Anga region near Bhagalpur and close to the Kharagpur mountainous region, hilly region, not mountain, and goes to Lakhisarai and to Pataliputra, crosses the Son, enters the Sonpur area at Kolwar near Ara and goes to the Buxar, where the British won the magnificent battle in year 1764. That was the real foundation of the British imperialism in Bharat. Then finally joins Mughalsarai. All the three lines start from Howrah and terminate in Mughalsarai across the river Ganga, and the continuous southern part of Ganga like Chunar, Mirzapur, and enters into Allahabad, into the Doab, then continues in the lower Doab region, Fatehpur to Kanpur, enters upper Doab region from Kanpur, the major railway junction and British cantonment at that time, and Etawah region, and continues to Tunla and Aligarh and joins, we are in upper Doab, and goes to Delhi. Excuse me. And this is about that. And here the same way I have collected an important Google search map here, and somebody has put an excellent graph, and I will show you these three. This is Howrah and Delhi, and this is the loop line Khanna. You can see Bardhaman here and Khanna here, and you go to Pakur area here, Raj Mahal, and then SAHIB GANJ, Bhagalpur, Lakhisarai north of Kiul, Bakhtiyarpur, and Pataliputra and Dinapur, and Kolwar, Arra, and Buxar, finally Mughalsarai junction. So from Mughalsarai we go to Delhi. That's a separate story. In order to emphasize, I have put SAHIB Ganj here, the railway line map, so that we know that is SAHIB Ganj. And let us go and look at the Google map, and so I have put this, didn't contract much so that you can see. We start with Howrah here, Calcutta here. Here you see Varanasi or Benares and Ganga river, and we are here, there will be somewhere here, it is not shown, Mughalsarai. We are only concerned about Howrah to Mughalsarai. Howrah, that is across river Hooghly, river Bhagirathi, and of the British East India Company, Bahadur's capital Calcutta, from Mughalsarai. Once it is in Mughalsarai, all the three lines merge, come to Mughalsarai. We can see the Burdwan, he is the delta here, and Burdwan, the Damodar Valley region, and it takes near Khanna, it takes the diversification, it goes to Suri and Bolpur and continues its and Pakur. Now is in the previously in Bihar, now in Jharkhand region, and continues. These are the Raj Mahal hills, SAHIB Ganj. So our main loop line is SAHIB Ganj line. Then the Bhagalpur and Mangyar, here you can see Mangyar. Here you can see the Kharagpur hilly hills, and it goes to Bihar. I don't think it goes to Bihar Sharif, I'm not sure, Bihar Sharif and Patna. Then it crosses the Sonpur river or Son river. I can see Patna, the Son river at Kolwar near Ara, then goes to Buxar, the way the British won the major battle against Mir Qasim, Nawab of Bengal, and Shah Alam Shani, the Mughal emperor, Ali Gohar, and Suja-ud-Dawla, the Wazir and Monarch of Oudh at Buxar, 1864, and Hector Munro was the victor there, and it continues in the Buxar, and it continues, and you see Mughalsarai here. So that is about the I lost, just excuse me, I lost this. Yeah. I am showing the British, yeah, we are in this number 1, the Sahib Ganj Loop. We are looking at the same here, and we'll see it was the railway line that was 1871. That means second line was also built, and I want to show the railway map. This is the wiki page. So you have the Canning or Calcutta, Howrah here. Canning is other town in the 24 Parganas. Calcutta here, and Howrah you can see Bardhaman here, and Nalhati here, and you have Sahib Ganj here, and this is south of Ganga only. You have Mangyar here, Lakhisarai here, and Pataliputra, Patna here, and Buxar here, and Buxar and Mughalsarai will be somewhere here, and Chunar and Mirzapur and Allahabad. And in Allahabad the train enters into the lower Doab, you can hear, and this is the Fatehpur, this is the Kanpur. The names are different at that time. British spelling is a little different. Etawah in the Doab, then Tunla, they spelled differently, but just we need not be worrying about that. Tunla and Aligarh and Ghaziabad, and across the Delhi. That is the 1871. In 1871, remember, other line was also built, that is the Kiul Line, and we look at that line in the next in detail, what are the stations and so on. So that is in brief about Sahib Ganj Loop line, Sahib Ganj railway line. What did we discuss today? What did we discuss today? Today we discussed about the British consolidation of British imperialism in India, British railways in India, and current capital Howrah, Calcutta, to the next potential capital Delhi in the Prastha. There are 3 ways in the Indian railways at the time to go to Howrah. Howrah to Delhi, 3 ways. We looked at the number 1 way, Howrah, Patna, Mughalsarai, Delhi via Sahib Ganj Loop line. So I put this icon here, Sahib Ganj Loop line. We discussed about the difference between the line. The Chord line is the shortest line, and this is the Chord line now, the Gaya line. The next main line is the line where most of the traffic and freight and the economy, essentially the important line, the main line. Then the loop line, all the loop line, Sahib Ganj line, the main line, the Kiul line, that is Devagar line, and the Chord line, the Gaya, Gazhati, Dhanbad line. All them diversify somewhere near Bardhaman, close to Bardhaman. All of them join at Mughalsarai and they continue. The starting point is always Howrah, the destination point is Ghaziabad, Delhi. So this is Howrah Delhi railway line, and when Kiul line or Devagar line was built 7 years later, 6 years later, Sahib Ganj line, that was the original line, became the loop line. Sahib Ganj line became the loop line, and we looked at the various the upper Doab and lower Doab and this Yamunapur region in Agra and Kharagpur hills and the Magad region and Wanga region and Rajmahal Hills and west part of the Bhagirathi Valley where the railway line goes through, then the Damodar Valley and the Moribund Delta, that is the Ganga Delta or Bengal Delta where the train originates. This is about Howrah-Delhi Railway Line. We'll be covering this in 3 main topics and 2 other subsidiary topics. This is your presenter for the education channel South Asia Maps or Greater India Maps. We bring the fascinating information for our audience in the form of icons, images and maps south of Karakora Mountains somewhere here and north of the sacred city of Kanyakumari and west of Kamarupa in Assam Valley, east of Kacha, Khyber Kalat adjoining Baluchistan Plateau. Please subscribe and encourage our channel and look forward eagerly your comments and subscriptions. And we will meet in other presentation soon. Thank you very much.